Good evening, everyone. This is Harrison Young for Topic Time. I got some underwriters for the show. We're going to read the names and then we'll start the show as usual. We have MDI Auto Brokers and Repair in Whitman. We have Angel Nails and Skincare in East Bridgewater. We have Auto Country in Abington, king of the used car. We have Furnace Brook Motors in Easton. High quality, affordable cars for sale. We have Vape Solutions in East Bridgewater. We have Reclaimed Market in East Bridgewater. We have Bridgewater Liquors and Lottery Tickets at a discount price in Bridgewater. We have Town Line General Store in West Bridgewater where UPS access is always available. We have the Baron and Fig Salon in Bridgewater. And we have Ye Old Standish Grill in East Bridgewater. And that's it. Thank you all very much. And now we will start the show. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the September 17th edition of Topic Time with Harrison Young. It's a beautiful afternoon out there. You kind of sense an Indian summer coming on, even though it's still real summer. But this is actually the best time of year. You know, it's not too hot, it's not too cold. But in here, it's always hot. We're always getting an amazingly new and amazing, incredibly upbeat guest, and we sure have one today. This young lady here, this is Ali Matteodo. How do you say your last name? Did I get it right?
Matteodo.
Matteodo, okay. Looks and sounds very romantic, European, Italian, all that rolled into one. And she's an actress, and she just told me she's part of a film company called, what is it, Murder Mystery? And it's a
Just Murder Mysteries.
Just Murder Mystery, and it's a national company, and she's got a really good career going, and it looks to me like she might model too. We're going to cover that as well. She has that look about her. She has a great smile. She has a great disposition, and I'm so glad we got her on the show today. So Ali Matteodo, sorry about that.
Like a
my
tongue
bad.
twister.
We'll get it done. Get it right before the show ends. Thank you for being on my show Topic Time today.
Thank you for having me, Harrison.
Okay.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about your history. And you're an actress, right?
Yep.
First and foremost.
Exactly. I was bitten by the bug back in 5th grade during a performance of Oliver.
Okay.
That my 5th grade class
What did you play in Oliver?
I was his aunt, actually, Aunt Rose. I wanted the part of Nancy, which is the lead girl in it.
I understand. That's one of those Charles Dickens plays, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Fine. Okay. This was 5th grade. So for you, I assume that wasn't too long ago. You don't look that old.
No, I'm 30.
Wow.
So,
No, I would have said maybe 20, 21 or 2 at the most.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I guess that
You're
those
still,
space
compared
creams
to
are
me,
working.
you're still quite young. But that's incredible. Okay, so where did you grow up, and how did and what took you so long? What took you your first 10 years of your life to decide? Somebody just that you wanted to be into acting. You just did your first few years in elementary school, and then by the time you were 10, that's when the acting bug hit you because you decided to play the aunt in Oliver, correct?
You know, I think that we weren't really given an option. The whole class had to be in this performance.
Well, I always say everything happens for a reason.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I think that the music director, our musical teacher, was in charge of it, and I really enjoyed it. And then all throughout high school, I enjoyed doing the plays.
Okay.
And I grew up in Hopkinton, Massachusetts.
Great town. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. That's where they start the marathon every year.
Yep, that is our claim to fame. For one day a year, we are the center of it all.
Just real quick question. On that note, you look very fit. Did you ever run the marathon yourself?
You know, I actually have thought about training. I have some friends who are trying to run a marathon in every single state. So
Wow.
They are serious, but I've heard that if you can run around, I think 5 to 6 miles, you would be able to run 26.
You could. You'd have to make sure that you just have to kind of like slowly build your intensity up day by day for a couple of months. a little truth about the marathon and how it affects me. Now, in 1995, I decided that I was going to run it in 50 years. Now that's almost halfway there. We're almost halfway. Not running. I decided then I was going to participate. I thought run then. Now the way I figure it, in the year 2045, in that spring, I'll be 85 and a half, and I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to run it. I'm going to walk it, but I'm going to finish it. If I'm still alive and my legs still work, I'm gonna make it happen.
Well, maybe we can do it together.
Yeah, that's right. I'll be 85. You'll be like 6. You'll be 50. You'll be about a little younger than I am now. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to go every year when I lived in town. I would sleep over at one of my friends' places who lived in the center of town.
In the center of Hopkinton?
In the center of Hopkinton, because they closed down the roads.
I know that.
So
except for running. The runners.
Exactly.
Right.
And we lived on the Hopkinton-Upton border. So I would sleep over at my friend's house, and we would go in the morning, and we would stand and cheer the runners on and give them high fives as they were starting out.
You like cheering. You like cheering people on. I get that. You like being cheered, and you like cheering. Well, that's interesting. Now, when I think of Hopkinton, I think of the town line of Ashland more than Upton. I guess you were further. This is further south, correct? Than Ashland, where you are?
Right. It's exactly right. So it's a very spread out town. So there's a lot of land there, and so it was easier for me to see my friends on my side of town. But I had plenty of friends who were right on the Ashland-Hopkinton border, and so
exactly right.
That was kind of the other side of town.
Just say I know the park. I know the park in the Hopkinton-Ashland line. I go there. I used to go there a lot.
That's beautiful.
It is. And then I decided that during the spring when they let cars come in. I even did a video there once, many years ago, a music video. I just took a camcorder, shot some footage, and edited some music in. And I tried to sell it as a relaxation tape. Nobody bought it. But this is my calling for now, anyway. But the thing about that town, that park, is what I liked about it. When I was walking there in the winter, they kept it cordoned off of traffic, so I didn't have to worry about cars running in and maybe colliding with me or getting in my way. And then as soon as they opened the gate, I decided this is it. I'm not coming back here until it's too cold to let traffic in. So, but I still always liked the park. So speaking of performances, now they have a really lovely Common in Hopkinton. Have you ever done any theater there?
It's on the Common?
Yeah.
No.
On the gazebo there, you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly where.
Right.
At the gazebo, they have musical performances there. I think every Sunday night in the summer.
Okay.
They haven't had any theater there that I know of. I think that they do have theater outside near the new high school.
Okay.
I performed just on the stage at the high school. I was part of a production that got its start in Hopkinton.
Okay.
And then it actually went on an international tour, which was really exciting. It was called...
Did you go with them?
I did.
Where did you go? What countries?
So the name of the project was Quiltar's Mime, and one of the big incentives was there was, in the audition notification, potential trip to India.
Wow.
And we ended up going with this production to India twice.
Wow. That's awesome.
It was beautiful, and it was really amazing.
Yeah, cool.
And so the director and his daughter lived in Hopkinton. I never knew them when I actually lived there, but the play got its start. She cast some of her friends, high school friends, and it was first performed in Hopkinton.
Okay, what was the play?
It was called Quiltar's Mime.
Okay.
So
was it a mime play? Like, did you all dress up in white paint and do this?
Not quite that far, but there was a lot of movement. It was very lyrical. So when we went to India, some of the places we went, they didn't speak English, but they were still able to get the gist of the play because there was so much movement.
Right. It was mostly like movement of improv, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
There was a lot of just miming or the use of just our bodies.
Miming is like signing, but used for the deaf, but using your whole body. And yet it's not for the deaf. It's for people who don't know English or know the language that you're speaking. So that works great. It worked out good for you. It worked out amazing. I'm glad I asked these questions because it always seems to bring up interesting points like this. So this was high school. This was after you did your play Oliver in 5th grade.
Yeah.
You fell in love with now that's a musical, right?
Yes,
so did you have to sing?
I did.
Okay.
There was singing.
So let me ask you this: how incorporated is music into your acting life? Or has it been since then? or not?
Well, I still love to sing.
Cool. Okay.
I would say my forte these days, or what I seem to be doing mostly these days, are short films and web series.
Gotcha.
And film.
Okay.
But I love musicals, and where I use my voice the most these days is singing telegrams.
Cool. I didn't even know they did telegrams anymore. Do you actually deliver them?
I did.
Are you self-employed doing singing telegrams? I did one once in 1999.
You did?
For a guy that turned 60.
Cool.
I'm poetic. I write poetry. I've written a couple of books of short. I wrote a book of short stories in the 90s. I wrote a book of poetry 30 years. When you were born, I don't know if you were born in 1988.
I was.
In 1978, I'm thinking back, 40 years, I wrote a book of poetry when I was 19.
Whoa.
It was a little pamphlet. I had it printed at Sir Speedy.
What was it in the vein of? Was it
it
Walt
was just a little
Whitman
humorous
or?
limerick, that kind of thing. People loved it. I even sold out in consignment at one of the local bookstores in Brockton, where I live, which is just a couple of towns from here. So obviously,
that was where the singing telegram was yesterday that I did.
Oh, you're in Brockton?
Yeah, I was right in Brockton.
So do you write these singing telegrams and deliver them, and then now you, like you said, did you say you're self-employed for doing this? You do your own singing telegram company?
It's through a couple of different companies. I'm essentially an independent contractor.
Okay.
One of them is centered out in Denver, and then if he gets a singing telegram, he kind of coordinates with the people in the area it's in. And then they're singing telegrams for Boston Party Adventures.
Oh my goodness! How did you land this gig?
So it's through friends who are in the acting community. It's a great job for actors because we love to perform, and so you're essentially getting paid to perform.
I got to tell you something. I mean, my birthday's coming up in a couple of weeks. I'd love to see you at my door singing "Happy Birthday" with some kind of really twisted lyric. Not just a regular "Happy Birthday." Anyone can do that. But somebody with a good imagination can think of something really crazy to sing, which would be fine.
Well, there's some popular ones. Marilyn Monroe.
You can hit me in the face with a pie. That's what I used to. I used to actually don a chicken suit and hit people in the face with a pie and give them balloons.
The
if it was a guy, I hit him in the face with a pie. If it was a girl, I give her balloons.
The Singing Chicken's one of the most popular singing telegrams, and the Pink Gorilla.
I know where it's at. I'm in the loop. Okay. All right. Well, but we gotta talk about your acting too. Okay. So you got the acting bug. How old were you when you did your first film? And what was it? And then let's figure out all the projects you've done, and we're going to possibly look at some of your demo reels too.
Definitely.
Show us up.
So I went to school actually at Boston University, grad school for film production.
Okay.
So one of the first films I was in was one of the projects that we did when I was in school, and so we were all in each other's projects because it was easier to just recruit your other classmates.
You went to Boston University instead of Emerson? Well, I don't know.
Yes, I know that they have a bit of a rivalry.
They do.
Between
I never knew
other.
that, but see, that's why I'm glad we asked these questions. Okay, so but it must have a pretty good program at BU for film and creating.
It's incredible.
And acting and whatnot, right?
It's amazing. One of the best things about it, I think Emerson does this as well. I don't know who started it first, but there's something called BU in LA.
Okay.
Where your
Emerson
last
does
semester.
too. Yeah, they have an LA. I had a girl in here a few months ago who told me she went out to LA to do it, and she was an Emerson grad.
Yes.
And she told me that she went out to LA last summer and did Emerson LA out there. So yeah, it's the same thing. You have BU out there and you have Emerson out there.
Exactly. They kind of have parallel programs.
Yep.
And so I essentially got into film production because I thought, being oh so clever, if I get into film production, I can just bypass the entire audition process itself, because then I can just cast myself in all my own projects.
There you go. Well, that makes sense.
So that's
cut out the middle person, right?
Exactly. So that's kind of what I was essentially
And then you don't
doing.
have to worry about being rejected because you'll make the decision. You can't reject yourself.
That's exactly right. So I am going to, because you do everything. You're kind of like the auteur when you're going to school, because they want you to write the projects yourself and shoot the projects and direct the projects. And so then I just went one step further and cast myself.
There you go. That is awesome. Tell me about what you cast yourself in at BU.
So one of the projects that I first did was called Letting Go. It was a short film. And it has this eerie vibe where...
Who wrote it? Did you write it too?
I did write it.
Woo!
Yeah.
Nice.
So I wrote it, and I play this girl who has is essentially a ghost. I've suffered this tragic death, and so
Wow.
I'm haunting my fiance, and he's moved on. He's found this other girl, and they have this really intense connection, but I'm still kind of, in limbo.
Even in death, you want him.
Exactly.
Oh, wow,
So I'm
kinky. I like it.
So he's appearing to me, or I'm appearing to him rather,
Yep.
and I'm kind of, holding on. And then the reason it's called letting go is because she kind of has to come to terms with going on to another realm and letting him live his life.
Wow, that is so cool. How short is it? Like 15 minutes?
Yeah, it's around the 10-minute mark, and I actually shot it in Hopkinton.
There you go.
So Hopkinton, it was great because my parents still had a house there at the time, and
Yep.
so they were very supportive and let me use the house. And Hopkinton, it's become much more built up, but there's still beautiful woods all around. So we shot a lot in the woods.
Route 126 and Route 85 is a beautiful intersection. Well, where it leads is beautiful. It's a little busy there because of, it's trafficy. But all those roads lead you to, Route 80, you take Route 85 into Berlin, or Berlin. I don't want to say like Berlin, Germany, but I know. You like the woods. So this is basically, you did a lot of outdoor shoots there.
It was, the majority of the shoot was outdoors.
Okay.
And thank goodness when we were shooting, it was nice, mild, but I've been on some shoots which were absolutely frigid.
Oh, I know.
The coldest I've ever been has been on shoots.
Outdoor stuff. But it's worth it when the project is finished.
It is.
Of course.
It is.
Well, okay. So how many projects do you think you've done, all together? Can you ballpark it, get just an idea?
Oh,
Sounds like you've done a lot.
A lot. It's
Yeah.
I would say at this point, within the Boston area, it would probably be around 40
Wow.
projects, I'd think. Because when I first moved back here, I was living out in Los Angeles.
Right.
After I did the BU in LA program, I stayed out there.
Okay.
And then people say, you want to be a performer. Why didn't you stay in LA? That's the perfect place to be an actress. And I say, well, it's a good place to be you feel like you're a little fish in a big pond.
Right.
And in Boston, it's a good place to build up your credentials and to
Couldn't
kind
ask for
of
a
pad
better
your
answer
resume.
than that. You told them. You were right. You were absolutely right. So, okay, so you've done about 40. So between like web series, films, and now you're singing telegrams. And tell me about just murder mystery. What's that? And how'd you get into that?
So
you are so inundated with stuff. It's great.
I know, we could be here until midnight. So Just Murder Mysteries. They have all different kinds of shows. The most popular one is Bullets in the Bathtub, and
okay. Now these are all plays, right?
Yep, this is all plays, and companies. I've done bachelorette parties. They hire the company. It's 2 people,
okay.
And you go in, and there's a murder that happens. You assign parts to everyone
okay.
there.
And then people are supposed to figure out who done it?
Yep, exactly.
Oh,
and then,
I've heard of that.
And everyone's basically a suspect, and they have to figure out who committed the crime.
Okay. Well, how do you actually perpetrate the murder? You don't use like fake blood? Or do you just or do you just basically tell a story and say so-and-so was murdered, these were the circumstances, who done it, correct?
Usually the murder victim comes out, and there's this big dramatic, death scene, and then they collapse, and they say something kind of cryptic right before they die,
okay.
which has some kind of meaning.
Yes.
And but they don't usually die on stage, because that's very difficult. Because
then if they die on stage, then everyone will see who killed them.
Exactly, exactly. But then they usually come in and they're staggering around, and so it's just happened, and then they stagger off, and then they die off stage. So you don't have to lug them off or carry them off.
You ever do that on a cruise? I hear that they do these on cruise ships too sometimes.
Yes.
Did you ever?
I've never done one on a cruise ship. I think it would be so much fun. And one of my friends does a murder mystery. I think it's Clue themed at the Endicott House, or one of the mansions.
Okay.
And I think that would be really fun.
Where's
too.
the Endicott House?
I feel like it's in Dedham.
Oh, okay.
Maybe?
I think it's in the Boston area, west of Boston. Okay. I probably even buy it. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the kind of place. It's kind of an upscale, a little touristy place to go and hang out.
We've done it
have
at
dinner and all that kind of thing.
We did a murder mystery at Tupper Manor. which is in the North Shore area, and that was really beautiful, and that was a fun place to do one.
Wow, murder mystery on the North Shore. What a place to do it. Yeah, okay.
The interesting thing is the way that I got involved with it is I used to work with Cambridge Historical Tours, which is another great job for an actor because you're in character as a historical figure.
Right.
And so one of my friends who started that company, Chris, he worked for Just Murder Mysteries, and he was in a bind, and he said, hey, my friend Allie, I bet that she can jump in and do Murder in Mayberry, which is another one of the shows that kind of has a Southern theme.
Like Andy Griffith.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
And so I jumped in, and I really enjoyed it. And the first show I did with Just Murder Mysteries was in Ashland.
Okay.
And then just kind of stuck with them after that.
Okay,
I kind of proved my stripes.
So you're doing murder mysteries around the country. How'd you get the gig again? Would you just apply somewhere?
It was through, like a lot of the jobs I get, it was through a friend. It was through one of my friends who worked at Cambridge Historical Tours.
I see. Wow.
And he started Cambridge Historical Tours, but he also works with Just Murder Mysteries.
Wow.
And so we've continued to do shows together.
So between that and the singing telegrams and the other projects you do, that you must have made a lot of connections, people that want, that hire you out for a lot of things, and you must be on a callback list for a lot of stuff too. Are you on the Boston Casting callback list?
Yep, I'm on all those different audition sites: Boston Casting, CP Casting.
There you go. Have they gotten you work?
Yes.
Okay.
It's great because there's so many movies shooting
Yep,
right now
there are around here.
The Boston area.
There sure are.
And so
you don't have to be the small fish in the big pond either.
No, I can be the big fish
and you can write your own
the
stuff.
medium-sized pond.
You basically call the shots, which is perfect.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
So I want to write. I've been thinking about something because I live in Revere, and so much Revere.
There you go.
Exactly. Whenever I tell people I live in Revere, I try to do the accent, Revere, and then I say we drink a lot of Pabst Blue Ribbon in Revere.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well, do a beer commercial then.
Yeah.
Now, let's break down before we. What have you done commercials? Have you ever done an opera? You're not the fat lady, but have you ever sung in an opera?
Oh my gosh! So I'm sure my dad would love if I were to sing in an opera. I've never done opera.
You'd have to wear a fat suit, but yeah. No, okay. No, I try to give people guest advice that might behoove them later. What about, have you ever been in commercials, music videos, or any of that, those things?
So when I lived out in LA, I was in this fantastic music video by a artist or performer named Alicia.
Okay.
And
just go ahead, the phone. Just start it off. All right, go ahead, keep talking.
Alicia, I think she's, I want to say maybe a Canadian artist, but The Life of the Party was the name of the song.
Keys? Not Alicia Keys.
No, not Alicia Keys. It's Alicia, Aleesia, and it was fantastic because they had rented out one of those homes in Los Angeles that I think they just primarily used for film shoots.
Okay.
And they wanted everybody at the end of this to jump in the pool at the end, but it was one of those with their clothes on.
Okay.
And it was a frigid night.
Oh boy.
People think that Southern California
can't get
cold.
Oh, I know. I've been out there. That myth was quickly dispelled in 1997 when I went out to visit my brother, and I almost froze at the Anaheim Stadium going to a Red Sox game.
Yes, the same thing happened to me. I had gone to Disneyland and I was just wearing a sleeveless shirt.
It was April. I mean, you think if you've never been out there, you think, oh, it's going to be cold or warm, and there it is. You're cold, and next thing you know, you're doing this. Yeah,
yes.
Well, okay, but that's cool. So you did that. You jumped in the pool in a music video.
Yep, it was Life of the Party, and then I've done I think that it's appearing in New Hampshire maybe now, but it's a public service announcement, and it's by I think it was sponsored by the Granite State Alliance, and it's part of a campaign called Know and Tell.
Okay.
And so I play this quick part in that as the bride.
Wow.
And it was great. It was shot at this cute little chapel called Chapel by the Sea in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, which was so beautiful.
It's a beautiful spot on the sea, exactly. You make a beautiful bride, I'm sure.
Oh, thank you.
Well, guess what? We're down to the final 5 minutes of the show.
Oh my gosh.
We talked a lot about good things that you've done. So what I want you to do in the remaining time, if you could, is to give a few shouts out to people, because a lot of people are going to see this. We had tons of likes when you plugged your appearance, so go ahead.
Okay, so I'd like to give a shout out.
People that you've worked with a lot of, and then family, friends, whatever.
I'd like to give a shout out to Adam Griswold of Smoking Bottle Entertainment, because he gave me some of my first roles when I came back here from LA back to Boston. To Joey Kumajan of Boston Party Adventures, because we are the entertainers. Then, thank you for all of the singing telegram work you get for me in the parties. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I couldn't have, done this without you. And thank you to Jeff. And thank you to Jeff.
Jeff Fowler, the station manager? Who are you talking? What's Jeff? He knows who he is. All right.
Actually, I always say this. I've never met a Jeff that I don't like. A lot of my favorite actors have the first name Jeff. Jeff Daniels. But
okay, gotcha. All right.
My boyfriend Jeff.
Oh,
Jeff
your boyfriend
Miole.
Jeff. Yeah, now you okay. That's why I wanted to make sure. Cool.
And he's completely different industry. He's not in the acting industry at all.
Okay, well,
he's
a
software engineer.
We'll talk about what he's in next time.
And thank you, Harrison, for having me on the show.
I hope you had a good time.
I had a fantastic time.
Okay,
I really enjoyed it.
Just real quick, what does your future look like? You got more? You going back to LA? You gonna do more acting around here, or don't you? Give a quick summation.
Something I'm really excited about is I'm working with Erickson Artists now. Glenn Erickson has offered to be my manager, and so something that's in the works is a feature film called The Revenge of the Clancy Brothers.
Oh, cool.
And I actually haven't seen either of the movies that he said it's a cross between, but he says it's like a cross between Doctor Strangelove and Failsafe.
That sounds like an apocalyptic fun type of thing. Yeah.
Apocalypse movies are actually some of my favorite movies, or
me too.
dystopian novels.
For real, and then we'll be good to go. Or not go.
I hope so too. So he's actually just mailed out the script to me today. So
cool. Well,
that's something that I hope you'll see me in soon.
Everything happens for a reason. I'm so glad we got you in just in time to disclose that. And on that note, are you ready to jiggy with it?
Yes, I am.
All right, folks. Thanks for watching Topic Time. More great episodes on the horizon. Take care. See you next time. Here we go.